If we laugh and sing a little as we fight the good fight of freedom, it makes it all go easier. I will not let my life's light be determined by the darkness around me. That is a quote from Sojourner Truth. Let us pray. Be with us today, Spirit, as we come together in this sacred space to share our love with each other. We ask for our guides, angels, and ancestors to gather close to us so that we may feel and know their presence, love, and support. We ask for the higher master teachers to grant us wisdom and insight, and we call you all in using the prayer that the Master Jesus taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Good morning, everyone. We're very glad that you're here with us at the USCL today. I'm Reverend Rose, in case you don't know me. And I'm thrilled to be here with you to celebrate some spirit today, right? That's why we're here. Let's celebrate with spirits. So today is Sunday, November 24th, 2024. Sunset today is at 5:17 p.m. I know. I know, right? 5:17 p.m. Like many of us, I find myself thinking at 5:17 p.m. that it's 9 o'clock at night. Right. Or something like that when I look out the window, when it's really only 5, whatever time it is. So clearly this is because here in the northern hemisphere of the earth, we are in the darkest time of the year. This is the darkest time of the year right now, because the days are still lengthening. I'm sorry, the nights are still lengthening. The days are still shortening. So, and that's what happens between Halloween, which is also called Samhain in other traditions, between that on October 31st and winter solstice, which is coming up on December 21st. So we're in this really, really dark period of the earth here in the northern hemisphere. And of course, winter solstice is the longest night of the year, and it's the turning point when the light will then start to lengthen and become longer and longer each day. So right now, we are in the underworld in some ways. Plutonian. So personally, I also found my mood and my emotions to be kind of reflective in this, reflecting this darker time of the year. I have found for myself that the events and things that have been going on around us in the larger world, in the outside world, have also been things for me that have had resounding sort of repercussions on my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions. And that has also made me feel a little darker in a lot of ways. We're only a few days also into the new cycle of the planet Pluto moving into Aquarius. And for those of you who are not astrologers, which I don't claim to be an astrologer, I just read a lot about astrology and what's going on in the heavens. And that movement of the planet Pluto into, well, is he a planet or not? I'm going to call it a planet.
He's a planet.
He's a heavenly body,
what they say.
Pluto. Moving into the sign of Aquarius, that happened, it began on November 19th.
Yeah.
And that energy of Pluto, because Pluto is so far out away from us in the universe, that energy of Pluto in Aquarius will remain impactful and remain in play until March 8th, 2043.
Yeah.
That's a long time. If we get there, if I make it to that date, I'm going to be 75 years old on that, when that happens.
Yeah.
So most likely this energy of Pluto in Aquarius is going to affect me for the rest of my life, basically. If you don't know a lot about astrology, Pluto is a planet that brings a lot of intensity. It brings a lot of destruction. It brings a lot of transformation and rebirth. So all of those words grouped together, for me, telegraph a sense of big change and in some ways drudge up a sense of fear. Because I'm not sure in the golden years of my life if I'm ready to change a whole lot or transform a whole lot. Maybe I just want things to be peaceful. And maybe you feel that way too. If you add to that the paradigm shifting energy of Aquarius, which is where Pluto is now and has moved into Aquarius, you might, and you probably should, expect huge breakthroughs that highlight change on a massive scale. That's what Aquarius is. A lot of us have heard, the dawning of the age of Aquarius and those types of things. If you're a big musical fan like I am, it's from Hair, the musical of the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And I'm not suggesting that this is the dawning, although I could sing that for you. But with Pluto moving into Aquarius, it will bring major shifts in the way that we do things, in the way that we see the world, in the way that the world functions. Astrologer Stephen Forrest writes of it this way, and I'll quote him. He says, "Nobody today is going to win." Okay? Everybody is wrong. The ones who will create the human future will be humble enough to admit that and to be blown away by what's now forming in their minds. So that's an interesting, to me, perspective of what we may be seeing as a dark time. Not just because of where the Earth is, but where all the planets are and all the energy that's around us as humanity. But it's a time of what most astrologers seem to think will be a time of great leaps forward in terms of intellect, in terms of knowledge and wisdom, and in terms of putting that into practice and into the world, hopefully in positive ways. So that's some of the big earth-shaking stuff that is supposed to be going on. So what we thought was earth-shaking and new before this, in terms of Pluto in Aquarius, hasn't even scratched the surface of what is possible and what is going to happen, what will be discovered, and what may become part of us and part of our world. So to me, that's amazing and extraordinary and a little terrifying all at the same time. So for me, I have been looking for ways to sustain myself and my loved ones through what some may say is a dark time, but may just be a very shifting sort of time, a shifting paradigm. And here, this time period between Samhain and winter solstice, this time between when Pluto is in Aquarius and will be for a very long time, when things might shift in ways we can't even imagine, I thought it might be helpful to share a few ideas about what we may do in order to sustain ourselves. Because ultimately, if we don't sustain ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves, then there's nothing that we will be able to bring into the world, whether it's a little piece of something or a little support of something, or even a brand new idea or brand new thing that we have to offer the world. And I think it's important for us to remember that we might not always feel like we can influence things on a larger scale, but I believe, and I think a lot of us believe, that just by influencing things that are within our little circle of energy that is around us, the people, the places, the events, the circumstances, all of the things that are around us, by using that to influence things, then there's a ripple out effect that happens. And I like to believe that that's the best way, by concentrating on the things that are most close around us. That's how we can influence that bigger picture. So now is a really good time, because of nature trying to renew itself, because we're going into winter. We're not quite in the winter season yet, but we're in the darker time of year where we're moving into winter. Winter is a time of recharging. That's what winter is. Mm-hmm. It's an energy that allows us to go deep within ourselves, within our consciousness, and to hibernate. That's what hibernation is. Hibernation is a suspension of energy in the species that partake in hibernation, like bears and other animals. It's a suspension of their energy, so to speak, so that they can be renewed on some level. Now, I don't know how it all works in terms of biology and physiology for animals, but I know for us, winter really is supposed to be a time when we focus inward and when we focus on nesting and being in, our comfort spaces, whether that's our home or our friends and family, whatever those are, those comforting things that are around us that can help to sustain us. I think, I might be wrong, but I think that's one of the reasons that we have so many holidays at this time of the year, is because they're reminders to us of the importance of coming together with people that we love and using those circumstances together to generate love, to generate more energy in that family unit, and to sustain each other, to hold each other up, to be with each other, and to have love for each other. And that's what some of that nurturing that nature intends winter to bring, I think, is what we get from those times. It's also a time where if we live with other people, and it's snowing outside, who wants to go out? So you end up being at home with these people. And it's a great time to remind ourselves of the relationships, the commitments that we've made in our lives, and work on those kinds of relationships as well. But it's really an ideal time to think about starting or reinvigorating a meditation practice. So if you're not a meditator, this is a great time to start learning about meditation or trying it yourself, because meditation usually has sort of I want to say a scary connotation for some people, because meditation has this sort of what's the word I'm looking for? This sort of idea around it that you have to be completely still, and you have to be, basically, ascetic yogi to be able to really practice meditation in the way that it's supposed to be practiced. And that's simply not true. Meditation is a slowing down. Meditation is a slowing of the mind. And that, for us as Westerners, is often a really hard thing. So when you start a meditation practice, or whether you're renewing a meditation practice, it's good to start with basic stuff. And there's nothing wrong with basics, because basic things can help us really grow and learn a lot about ourselves and sustain good changes that we need. So a really basic meditation practice is something that a lot of us would really benefit from. And I'm including myself here because I've been meditating for, I feel like I've been meditating since I came out of the womb. But that's not entirely true. But I feel like I've been meditating for a really long time, but there are definitely times in my life when meditation has not been part of my daily practice, or has not been as as important in my life, or a focus in my life as it should be. And one of those times is now. I'm not going to lie. It's been hard for me to focus. It's been hard for me to do anything that feels like it requires some kind of mental focus. The thing about meditation a meditation practice is that it really helps you to center and focus and bring that energy of centering and focusing back into your life, which can really help all the aspects of your life. So just 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes is really not that much. It really isn't. And I always told my mediumship students when I was teaching that 5 minutes a day is better than 20 minutes a week, or 30 minutes a week, or 45 minutes a week. I think a lot of people have this idea that meditation practice has to be this long period of silence where you just sit and I don't know, eventually you float or something because you're in meditation for 45 minutes. And that's really not what it's about. Eventually you might get to the point where you want to meditate for 45 minutes straight. I can't say that I've ever gotten there, but you might. But for me, that 5 minutes is enough to help me to recenter and refocus so that I can bring the best of myself to whatever it is that I'm doing for the day. Whether it's being at home and doing laundry, or going and working with my students down at UC in the medical school, or going and doing some theater, or going and talking to other people, or being with my family, whatever it is, that 5 minutes can really be helpful. So one of the easiest meditations to do in that 5 minutes is a mantra meditation, or a focus on a word meditation. So a mantra, again, a lot of people think mantras have to be something like in a foreign language like Sanskrit, and you're chanting something that you don't really even understand what you're chanting, but you're chanting it anyway because that's what you were told was meditation. I was always instructed in magical practice not to say anything in a language that you don't understand, because words are power.
Yes.
And if you don't understand what you're chanting, then why are you chanting it? There's no reason for you to chant it, because you don't understand, you're not putting any energy behind it. The energy that you're creating might be some kind of energy in putting words behind something that you don't want to create. So why are you chanting that? So pick a word, pick a sentence, pick an affirmation, something that is easy for you, that means something to you, that you want to focus on. So it could be as simple as a word like peace, or love, or joy, or health. You could use an affirmation statement, like, I am open to possibilities of the universe. That could be your mantra. Or you could make several little words into some kind of a thing, like peace, love, and joy, or something like that. And just repeating that over and over in that meditative state. And you can repeat it out loud if you want for 5 minutes, or you can repeat it within your own headspace. But the idea is that as you're repeating that for that 5 minute time period, you're sitting in a comfortable place. Maybe you set a timer for 5 minutes. Everybody's got a timer on their phone. So don't tell me you don't have a timer, right? You set a timer for 5 minutes, and you sit in a comfortable chair or a comfortable space, somewhere where you feel comfortable. You breathe in a few times before you start, and then just closing your eyes and allowing that word that you've chosen, that peace word, that love, that energy, whatever it is that you've decided to concentrate on for the day, you just simply concentrate on it and repeat it in your mind, in your head, however you see that. It's not hard to do. And if you find yourself starting to go off on, in other ways, like we all do, because that's part of meditation, then when that happens and you start to notice it, then you just bring yourself back to that word that you chose. It's okay to go off on a tangent somewhere, okay? Because we all do it. What you're doing in meditation is you're training your mind not to do that as much. Okay, eventually, if you keep doing it, you'll get to the point where you don't do that quite as much, and you really do stay focused on whatever your word is or whatever your affirmation statement is. If you're a visual person, use a picture. Some people like to use a picture of something, like a picture of the sunshine, or a picture of a candle flame, or a picture of a pretty color that they like, something that makes them feel good. Whatever it is that works for you, you're just using that as a focal point. That's what it is. It's a focal point. So that when your mind starts to wander, you bring it back to that focal point. And you just do that for 5 minutes until the timer goes off. And when you're finished, your timer's gone off, and you breathe again and open your eyes, I guarantee that you're going to feel more focused, more centered, more balanced than you did before you started. That's the magic of meditation. It's not really magic. It's a natural process of slowing your mind down and telling your mind, we're not going to think about all these other things right now. We're going to concentrate on one thing. It helps your attitude, it helps your mood, and it really helps your interaction with others that are around you in your circle of the world. So, and this is a time of the year when we sit in the dark a lot. Okay? So, if you want to use the darkness, you can use it to sit in for meditation. You don't have to sit in complete darkness if you don't like complete darkness, but I like to be in the dark. So use it. If it's something that's beneficial, use it. You can also try doing some kind of like ritual or short ceremony to bring more light into your life. If you feel like you're in the dark all the time at this time, then maybe finding a candle and placing it in a special area of your home and lighting it at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day when it gets really dark, or towards the end of the day when, around dinner time when it starts to get dark. Lighting that candle, lighting that candle can help you remember that the darkness is temporary. It's not something that's going to continue on forever. And that light energy, you can use that to focus on. So taking a moment to breathe and to imagine that light energy within yourself, that candle or that light of the flame being within yourself, that can be really helpful too. To remind yourself that you are light. That's what we all are. That's the divine spark that's within us, that is light all the time. It never goes out, that light within us. And if we can remember that, then maybe darker times don't seem so scary. And you can do that once a day, and you don't have to, when you're done, snuff the candle out, or if you want to let it, I like to let mine burn for a little while, 15 minutes, a half an hour, something like that. And then I snuff it out. Because again, as a good magical practitioner, you don't blow your candles out because you're blowing away your intention. You snuff your candle so that you can relight it again the next day with the same intention or a different positive intention. I also like to do something in the morning when I have my cup of coffee. Well, it's not coffee for me, it's tea. But if you're a tea drinker or a coffee drinker or somebody who likes to have a nice warm beverage in the morning, try stirring an intention into your drink. It's a really kind of fun way to start your day and to remind yourself that I'm starting the day with a specific intention. I'm starting the day with some positive energy. And a lot of us drink coffee or tea or whatever in the morning because it has caffeine in it. So we get a little boost, a little energy boost. If you put a little intention energy into your coffee or your tea along with your caffeine boost, you'll get an even bigger boost from that intention. So what I like to do is when I brew my tea, and this is controversial probably for people who are tea drinkers, I brew my tea, then I add milk or sugar to it and stir it in. But as I add honey. As I add honey to my tea, I always add it, and as I'm adding it, I think of what do I want to add to my life today? I want to add some sweetness to my life. I want to add some joy to my life. I want to add some extra energy to myself. I want to add some purpose to my morning. I want to add something. I want to add more love. And then as I stir my tea, as I stir that into my tea, I think about that and intend for that to happen as I'm stirring my tea. And again, magical practitioner that I am, I usually stir my tea 3 times or 9 times because those are magic numbers. But you can stir it for as long as you like. If you were like my dad, he stirred his coffee every morning until I thought the spoon was going to fall off. But most of the time it was because he was reading the paper at the same time and stirring his coffee and didn't remember what he was doing. But you can be very intentional about things like that. And you're creating a little magic in your life. You're creating a little light in your life. And then as you drink your tea, as you drink your coffee, you're infusing within yourself that intention. You're putting it back into your body. And we are body, mind, and spirit. That's what we are. So we can influence all of those things. So those are just some simple practices that might be helpful to you at this time as we honor the natural darkness of this time period. It is a natural darkness. And we create more comfort within that natural darkness, to become comfortable in the darkness. Again, that's a very sort of magical intention, to be comfortable in the light of the world and in the darkness of the world. Because guess what? When we're in the darkness of the world, we are still light, because we have that light within us. And it doesn't matter how dark the darkness around us is, we are still light. So if we can remember that and maybe do some things to help expand that light or encourage that light to be brighter, then we can hopefully influence the world around us in a positive way. So we're going to do a little quiet meditation now for a few minutes, a little guided meditation. So what I'd encourage you just to get comfortable for a moment. And just breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you continue breathing in and breathing out, imagine yourself in a natural place, someplace that feels good to you, perhaps on a beach, in the woods, in the mountains, in a field, someplace that feels good to you. And And just imagine yourself sitting in this place in a comfortable way. And see whatever it is that you can see around you, the natural formations of the earth. Perhaps there are trees or flowers or foliage. Perhaps there's water nearby. Whatever it is, just look around and visualize and see whatever these natural things are around you. And now imagine as you sit in this place that around you the sun begins to set, and wherever you are sitting in this natural piece of the world begins to become more shadowed as the sun sets. Notice that as the sun is setting, and the natural world around you is becoming a little bit darker with each moment. See around you your own beautiful divine light. It begins inside of you. Small little flame in the center of yourself. But as the darkness becomes darker around you, the light within you becomes brighter and brighter. And let that light within you fill up your whole being, your whole self. And that light becomes so bright that it begins to spill out of you, so that it's all around you in a beautiful halo of light. And so within this darkness, in this natural place where you are the beacon of light, a beautiful bright sun in the middle of the darkness. And you know that nothing but good can come to you in this light. Nothing but good can go from you in this light. And that the darkness is just another place to be. So keeping that image of that light that you are, keeping that flame of divinity burning within yourself. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And allow yourself to come back to this time and this place, in this sacred space, at this sacred time. Feel the chair beneath you and the ground underneath your feet as you come fully back into your physical self. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, wide awake and bright as the sun.